What's up, friends? Welcome to Weeknights with Chaos, my fun little 30-minute live stream that I'll do with you guys here on the weeknights, just for the hell of it all, for fun, usually on Tuesdays or Thursdays if I have the time, and I have the time today. So we have some time to hang out for about a half hour, chat, answer questions and everything like that. Make the same deal with you guys as I usually do. If the stream gets to 50 likes, we'll extend it to a 1 hour live stream. But for now, we're just sticking with 30 minutes. If the video gets to 50 likes before the end of that 30 minutes, then we'll up it. So welcome, Notification Platoon, awesome individuals. We got Thomas88, Xavier Moore, Load the Video, Johnny Bravo, Edward Jr., Blackpink, Stephen Edwards, Lady Christelle, was it, I don't know what it is, pronounce that, Gitan, Jay the Vorn, HBK, Miguel, Brad Lloyd, Dominique Hilton, Crocodile Keys Production, John McJunkin, and I think I got everybody. Jasmine, I think I got everybody. If not, sorry. But welcome. What do we got? We got Notification Platoon saying they're in the house. Chaos Army represent. Awesome. Like the video, guys. I agree. If you want it to be more than 30 minutes, 50 likes. What's up, Jay the Born? How's it going? We got Brad saying leave AIT tomorrow, taking 10 days of leave and heading to Korea. You're talking about afterwards? Because you're leaving AIT? Okay, so you're leaving AIT tomorrow. So you're saying you're already done with basic? Now you're off to AIT? Well, good luck to you. And then you're going to head to Korea. Korea's fun. I had fun in Korea. What's happening, Dominique? What's happening, Crocodile Keys? Let's see, 2 days before basic training for Blackpink. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully everything works out. Just don't worry, it's going to suck, but you can get through it. Just got to push through. Push through the suck. 55 Bravo ammo supply is good. It's cool. Cool job. We got a super chat. Super chat from Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. What we got? It's the blind audio engineer drummer dude again. Awesome. Good deal. 11 X-Ray leaving August 26th. Good luck to ya. Did anyone see me on episode 5 of the Veteran TV call-in show? I didn't see that. Wasn't aware of that. I remember to like the stream. I agree. Can you wear your ACUs home? Not supposed to. I mean, there's a possibility that nobody will say anything, but there's a possibility somebody might. But for the most part, you're not supposed to wear a uniform unless you're on official military business. Now, if you take your uniform home with you and you want to do something with family where you're showing up to surprise someone in high school or at work or something like that, and you want to show up in uniform, probably no big deal. But if you're traveling in your uniform, sometimes some people might make a stink about it, question you, asking why you're in uniform. Are you traveling for official business? Because you're not supposed to be traveling in uniform unless it's for official business. But yeah, I mean, you can bring your uniform with you and then surprise family if you really want to, and probably nobody's going to care about that. How long was I in the Army? Over 10 years. Just over 10 years. Your last video was hilarious. Wonder how someone like that even made it past basic. They might not have gotten crazy until later. I don't know. I don't know how that guy got through basic. I mean, I don't know. Maybe just blended in really well. I don't know. Can you be married and have a kid and join the military as an officer? Of course. Of course you can. You can have family and everything like that if you're in the military and have a wife and children and husbands and whatever. I leave for basic training at Leonardwood on Sunday, 68 Whiskey. Well, good luck to you, Christopher. Hopefully all goes well. Leaving for OSIT soon. Will be more laid back compared to normal basic training. No, if you're doing OSIT, no, it's probably going to be worse than regular basic training. It also depends on what OSIT you're going for. If you're going for 11 Bravo, then obviously that would be insane. If it's, engineer, if it's something else. It's mainly because everything's so combined and everything like that, where in basic training, normal basic training, it's hectic still, but you're focused on certain tasks where you're kind of doing a lot of everything in OSIT. So OSIT would probably be less laid back than basic training would be. I don't know, it'd probably be close to the same. It's more of like basic training for a really long time, put it that way. What's the best part of the Army? The people, probably, for most part, and getting to travel, as long as it's not to something crappy like Iraq. I didn't enjoy traveling to Iraq. Hey man, 5 days left till I ship out 88 Mike. Awesome. Good luck to you, Eugene. Yo say me. Me. How about that? What is a 74 Delta? Google it. I don't know. It'll take more time out of this live stream if I have to stop to Google 74 Delta. If you Google 74 Delta MOS, sure it pops up. Are you ready in Area 51? Oh yeah, of course. No. I actually have a video tomorrow themed, not really about Area 51, but inspired by. You'll see. What happens if you're pregnant in AIT? Well, that'd probably mean you got pregnant while in AIT or while in basic, which is against the rules. So you'd probably get in trouble for that. And then you'd probably be held over, having to probably do crappy details or just sit on a desk for the remainder of the pregnancy, and then possibly get kicked out. I don't know. I'm not sure. It'd probably be a bad situation because you can have a child, but you can't. There's certain circumstances where you can't. So like basic training AIT, can't. You get to your first unit, that's fine. You get pregnant, whatever, it's cool. No big deal. Hey Chris, as an 88 Mike, did you ever run into, was it Habab, aka severe dust storms with blinding winds and fine sand and dust in the Middle East? Yeah, dust storms are pretty hellacious. You get some pretty crazy ones in Iraq and everything like that, especially mostly during my first tour, because my first tour I was in a pretty deserty area, where my second tour was in Baghdad. So you had a lot of buildings and not quite as much dust that gets kicked up, so it wasn't quite as bad. You'd still get it occasionally, but not too bad. But yeah, when I was farther north, more of the desert area, it'd get really bad. And then we were living in like tents and stuff too, so it was horrible. So it'd go and just mess up all your stuff. You'd have a laptop or whatever inside the tent somewheres, or all your other gear or whatever, and it'd just get covered in dirt. We got a super chat from Joe. Did you hear 19 kilo will be no more tanks? I don't think so. I don't see them getting rid of the Abrams tanks. I don't think I've ever heard that. If that is, that'd be a little crazy, but I have never heard that. They have, I don't see why we would get rid of the Abrams tank. So I don't know. I don't think I heard that. It doesn't sound like something to be legit, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I've never seen anything pop up or anybody even talking about it from the Army guys. Tracy, my sister, how's it going? How's it going, sister? I don't think I've ever seen you in one of these live streams, so it kind of surprised me to see the little icon of your face. Welcome. Your videos gave me a lot of insight. Well, awesome, Jared. Did you find it hard to be prideful of your service, being that you didn't fight in combat or know of fellow veterans that faced this? Picking my MOS and am nervous about regretting not choosing 11 Bravo. So I was in combat. I didn't fight as an 11 Bravo, and you don't have to be an 11 Bravo to be in those situations. I was an 88 Mike, which is, in some people's eyes, a really dangerous job because you're on the road constantly and they have roadside bombs and all sorts of stuff, ambushes, RPGs. They had this huge thing that was going around then where people were dropping hand grenades from bridges as you passed under them, so we had to do these different little tactics to kind of avoid that. So fighting in combat as 11 Bravo doesn't necessarily mean you weren't in danger. So I was in danger multiple times. But, you got to do what MOS you want to do. Ever met a general before, especially a 4-star general? No, not a 4-star. I think the highest I've ever met was a 2-star. I think I met a 2-star once. Is there any salary benefits difference between Army Rangers and regular Army? The only thing kind of, but it's not really specific to Rangers, would be because the Ranger Battalion is airborne unit, you'd get an extra pay for airborne, but just the Ranger part alone doesn't give you anything extra compared to regular Army. Just other things like being airborne would do so, but you could also be regular Army and also in an airborne unit, doing active jumps and still receiving airborne pay as well. So that could still be a factor. My heart and mind wait. Is hearts and minds still hearts and minds? I don't know if they use that term anymore. Baghdad is all about urban environment. I'm from there. It's like I can imagine at one point in time, Baghdad was pretty awesome. Now, it's seen better days. Hello, Chaos 6. How did you memorize the Soldier's Creed? Did you learn it in basic or did you learn it before you joined? No, you'd said it a bunch of times like in basic, but after that, you really wouldn't memorize it unless there was something that came up or you needed to. Otherwise, for the most part, you maybe remember parts of it, But having the whole thing memorized usually didn't come about until you're in a situation where you're trying to like go to like the Soldier of the Month board, maybe a promotion board or something like that. But otherwise, you don't always have to kind of remember it. Do you play tactical games to get that feeling that you're back in the Army? No. I play video games once in a while, but I'm not very good at them. I'm not very good at video games. What do you think of the new physical fitness test? I think it's awesome. It's easier to probably pass, but a lot harder to max. But I think it is a better test of how to prepare a soldier, see if a soldier is in good shape for like a combat situation. So I think that's good. Is it true the Army is offering $40,000 to recruits who join by September? Yeah, I did a video on it. I didn't just make that stuff up. It's a real thing. But you have to qualify for it. It's not everybody going to do it. You have to have a good enough ASVAB score for it because there's a certain part of the ASVAB they look at to qualify for bonuses. But yeah, it's a real thing. I want to be Army when I grow up. Well, good luck to you. What are the benefits of joining the Army? Well, I have a video on pros and cons. If you want to check that out later, maybe you can kind of see some good examples from that. In your own word, what is a boot? An object that you wear on your foot. I'm sure that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about like a brand new soldier, but I think I've heard some people call it that, but I've never really used it in that reference. Unless you're talking about the thing that goes on your foot, a boot. Hey, you reached 50 plus on here? No, we're only 21. 20. Are you talking about viewers? Oh, so yeah. If you want this to be longer than a 30-minute live stream, and you want it to be an hour long, make sure you hit that like button. If we get to 50 likes before that 30 minutes is up, I'll extend this to a 1-hour live stream if you're interested. How many years as an officer do you think would take to get the highest rank, not general, of the Army? Like the highest rank that you could possibly get, probably like a 4-star general, realistically, because you're not going to get past a 4-star general unless you have some really, really crazy conflict going on. I mean, even our Iraq war and Afghanistan war that was going on wasn't even crazy enough for them to, have a need for a 5-star general. So 4-star is pretty much the highest you get. Most of the people that get to that kind of rank of a 4-star general have been in for like 30 years, for a long time. They've been in for a while. What's the worst officer rank to be? Probably a lieutenant, because you're brand new and you're kind of getting stuck with just the real basic stuff, I would imagine. Like I'm talking about like fresh 01 lieutenant. Just enlisted for 91 Foxtrot 2 weeks ago. Well, good luck to ya. Hopefully all goes well. Is there anyone in the Army that has the job they want? Yeah, I mean there's people that like I've known people that were mechanics that wanted to be a mechanic. I've known infantry people that wanted to be infantry. So yeah, it happens all the time. Where's the like button? I don't know. I guess it depends on what device you're watching this on. If you're watching this on desktop, it should be like down below-ish, over that way somewhere or something. I don't know. We're at 43 likes and we're getting close. We're probably going to go over 50 likes. So it'll probably end up being a more than a 30-minute live stream. For video games, go Arma 3 Muslim units. A lot of vets play there. You can choose a unit to join and runs by like life vets. We do things just like in real life. Yeah, Arma's a little bit, too realistic. Not realistic, but a little bit too serious. A lot of people take it really serious, and I'm not good enough to really be able to take it super serious. Is bullying a common thing in the Army? If so, how do you handle it? Not really. I think mostly because it's not like high school, right? If you were a higher ranking soldier and you were bullying some lower ranking soldier or whatever, you have a lot more, stricter punishments than in high school, where you're just gonna have to go see the principal, have a meeting with your parents or something crazy like that, right? In the Army, you get caught with something crazy like that where someone's bullying you, you're probably going to get maybe counseled. That if it gets extreme, Article 15 takes some pay away from you. So for the most part, no. I mean, there might be not necessarily bullying, but people like teasing out of fun, but not like in the same thing like you would see like in high school, where they're going to beat you up for the money or take you out back and dunk your head in the toilet. Nothing extreme like that, really. If it does get too extreme, then there's a lot more severe punishment compared to high school. But Expert with a super chat. Thank you, man. What's happening? Thanks for the donation. Hopefully you're having an amazing Thursday, dude. Chris, if you hear anything about the tanks, let us know. I heard Emtry will be using strikers to replace 19 kilos in tanks. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, they still have strikers. So you have a lot of 11 Bravos that use strikers. And then, so those are the individuals usually using strikers, but you still need a heavier vehicle. Because, I mean, you have the strikers, which are great wheeled vehicles, but they're not going to be able to do very well in like deep sand and certain terrains. So you need the track vehicles to be able to get through certain terrains. So that's why you have to have the Bradleys and you have to have the Abrams tanks. I wouldn't see them getting rid of the Abrams tanks because that gets rid of all that firepower and the mobility of being able to move through certain terrains. So I haven't seen anything about it. I could be wrong, but I haven't heard anything about it. I work on an army base with soldiers. No one's ever mentioned any of this. I know several people that were veterans as 19 kilos. They haven't been saying anything about it. So I haven't heard anything about them possibly getting rid of 19 kilos. So, super chat from Jared Scott. Thank you, Jared, for the super chat. I don't see a question, but I still appreciate the super chat there. You're awesome. Thanks. Would we need a 5-star general if we went to war with China? It really just depends. I don't know. I don't really know what the criteria is for it. I mean, it's been a long time since we had a 5-star general. Last 5-star general we had was what? The Korean War or something like that? I don't remember. I'm not very great with history, but it's been a while since we had a 5-star general. So it takes some pretty extreme kind of situations for us to have a need for that. Otherwise, a 4-star does the job just fine. Collier Jones, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Just got off the range, love it. Oh man, it's rough. I don't miss those days. I mean, it's fun sometimes, but it's not fun when you have to like get stuck doing night fire, and you're stuck out there on the range for a really long time doing night fire. That can get a little bit rough. Hey Chris, when your unit would drive across hundreds of miles if desert at night with no lights and using NVGs, did your eyes hurt after a while or make you feel dizzy? No. You don't really do it, like especially like in Iraq, you wouldn't really do it anymore. Sometimes you do it in certain training environments, but it wasn't really for like hundreds of miles. But even in Iraq, you still drive with the headlights on because civilians weren't supposed to be out on the streets after dark. So if there was anybody out, so we didn't have to like use concealment or anything like that. If you saw any vehicles out there, they weren't supposed to be out there, and they had to be detained for being out past curfew during the war was going on. But otherwise, when you're doing training events and you do a blackout drive with NVGs, you usually have like a time frame where you're trying to get adjusted to it for like an hour or two before you go on mission to kind of get you adjusted to the dark. Then you're wearing the NVGs and going. The only thing that kind of sucks with NVGs, you can't really see depth very well, so it's kind of hard to see like how big of a dip something is or a hole or whatever, or some of the hills or whatever. You don't really see depth very well, so it's kind of confusing. But I didn't really have any problems with like getting dizzy or straining the eyes or anything like that. It was usually okay. It wasn't too bad. You just had to really focus on you have blackout drive, and then like these small little lights are on the back of the vehicles, and with NVGs you can see those really well. So you just have to focus on those, and it's kind of hard to judge distance too, so you have to be very careful because it's hard to kind of judge the distance with those things. I'm enlisting for Army Fort Benning. Good luck to you. Do I know anything about warrant officers? Not a whole lot. I've known several people that were warrant officers. I know a couple people that are currently still warrant officers, but as far as like they're just basically an expert, and they do a lot of training with other individuals or an expert on a certain field, so it kind of varies. Can you talk about 12 Bravo? I did an MOS Monday on 12 Bravo. Can I put my waiver to be promoted in the Gamer Chaos Army? So on the for the members, by the way, if you guys aren't aware, you see these individuals with the private rank next to them. Recently, in the last month, I was finally able to have member access on the channel. So you can join by hitting that join button down there. If you're on a mobile device, and you probably don't have it, but there's a link in the description to hit it, and you can join the channel and get some extra perks and everything. That one of those perks includes icons next to your names, but I don't have any control over promoting you to those ranks. It's based on how long you're a member for. So if you're a member for 30 days, you will move up to the next rank, and then after that, I think it's 6 months or something like that. So you have to wait, and you're going to have to wait, Jay the Vorn, for I don't know how many more days you have left before you'll move up to PFC, because that'll be the next one that it moves up to, and it goes PFC, Then it skips up to, I think it goes to specialist and then to sergeant or something like that. I don't think it goes exactly in order. It goes in order somewhat, but not fully in order, because it only goes up to 2 years, and it only has certain, I think you only do 5 or something like that, or 6. You okay, I just want to go into the Army but have asthma. It depends on how severe the asthma is. If it's not super severe, then you might be okay. But if it's severe enough, then you could be disqualified from that. We are at 52 likes, so that means this live stream has been extended for an hour. So we're only at 20 minutes right now. So now instead of only having 10 minutes left, we got all the way up to a full hour's worth. So there we go. Thank you guys for hitting that like button, being awesome. But don't stop. If you haven't hit the like button and you're enjoying this stream, show us some love. Hit the like. If we get it to 100, I'll do 24 hours. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. Not really going to do 24-hour stream. Do you know the wait time on 31 kilo MOS? I just did my ASVAB and passed the requirements for that MOS. It really varies from person to person. There's no set standard as far as how long it can take. It just depends on the process of doing your background check, how busy they are. There's a lot of factors in there. There's no set standard. Will there always be an option to become an entry? Yeah, right now they're really short on that MOS. That's why they have so many, that huge bonus of $40,000 for people that do a 6-year contract, I think it is, because they're really short on numbers for that MOS. So that is why it's going. I know a lot of people think that we're going to war. No, they're really short. I mean, we could be at some point. I don't really know, but they're really short on 11 Bravos right now, on retaining 11 Bravos. So they're trying to offer these big incentives for that, and they're even also offering incentives for people to reclass to it. I don't remember how much the incentives are. It's not as much as $40,000. I think it's like $20,000 to be able to do that. Bit Expert with a super chat again. Thank you, man. I'm going to go, Chris. See you, Chris. Well, thanks, Bit Expert. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for hitting it up with a super chat and all that awesome stuff. You are awesome. You rule. So thank you. What does a 25 Echo do? I don't know. I don't even know what a 25 Echo is. What did I score on the ASVAB? I do not remember. It wasn't great. I think I mentioned it before in a video where I kind of goofed off on my ASVAB. I just took it to get out of class, and then it was good enough to get me in the Army. I didn't really care too much to want to give a lot of effort into it. But I don't remember what my score was. It wasn't a really, really bad score, but it wasn't a great score either. It was like kind of somewhere in the middle, I believe. Somewhere's like an average-ish, maybe a little low average-ish, because like I said, there was a lot of questions like if I didn't feel like putting the time and effort to figure out the math problem or something else like that, I would skip it. How do drill sergeants get sleep? They seem to not get much sleep, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. No, I don't. They probably just have to suck it up. Yeah, because not all of them have to stay up late. Usually they have shifts. So usually they have like a drill sergeant that's supposed to stay there later with the soldiers while training, and then the other ones go home, and then they all come back in the morning. But then there are times when most of them have to stay because of late night training. But yeah, it's probably pretty rough for the most part. And then they alternate, I think, days off here and there with their own little schedules or something to kind of compensate for that. But yeah, it's still, I would imagine, pretty rough on drill sergeants. Went to Cali to my education further. Well, that's awesome. Have you ever drove a 6,000-pound forklift with the crab and cramp mode? No, I don't believe so. 1,000 likes for 24-hour stream. Sure. If we get to 1,000 likes before the hour is up, maybe I'll do a 24-hour stream, but probably not. But we're not going to get to 1,000 likes in 24 hours. That'd be insane. Can I switch from commission officer to warrant officer? Asking because I might commission as a pilot officer, but I hear they don't fly as much. That would be a backward step. You wouldn't want to do something like that. Going from a commission officer to a warrant officer would be moving backwards. So you wouldn't want to do that. That'd be going down in rank. So, I mean, you could if you probably wanted to. I don't know how you'd have to do that, because you'd have to resign from your commission and get out of the Army and then try to come back as a warrant officer, because I don't think you can do any kind of like program or anything like that to go from officer to warrant officer, because that's a demotion. So I don't think that would really work. What's the longest contract you can sign? I think 6. I don't know. They might have longer, but most commonly, I don't think they usually do very often ones beyond 6. Did you know the current sergeant major of the Army enlist as an 11 Bravo? Did I know him? I don't know Sergeant Major Daly. I have several people that worked with him. They had him as a platoon sergeant. And was he 11 Bravo? Yeah, he was. He was 11 Bravo because the people that I knew that knew him were 11 Bravos, and they had him as a platoon sergeant at one point in time. Drill sergeants are also actors, pretty much. They'll yell at you and act very angry, but as soon as you're out of sight, they burst out in laughter. Yeah, because that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to act angry, and they're supposed to always be mad at you and get all crazy like that to intimidate you and make you work under pressure. But yeah, in real life, afterwards, they're like, oh man, did you see that? That guy was super scared. That was awesome. High-fiving each other, doing whatever. If you're in the Army for 4 years, but you sign a 6-year contract and you want out, could you get out? No, not if you did a 6-year. If you already signed for a 6-year contract, and then after 4 years you decided this was a bad idea, you're stuck. You are stuck unless you want to try to get kicked out, which I definitely would not recommend. But no, you're stuck. What do they ask in ASVAB? Like math-based info. There's a lot of stuff. There's like writing, English stuff, math, science. There's a lot. There's several different topics. Scored a 55 on the ASVAB and have me around 120 jobs to choose from. That's awesome. Is it possible to reclass to infantry but since I'm going to Fort Benning this Monday, my MOS is 25 uniform. You could reclassify it to 11 Bravo later, like your contract's up and you want to reclass to that MOS, you could. You have to talk to your retention NCO once you get to your first unit. Or whatever when your retention time is up, usually about the last year of your contract, then you can possibly do so. Nicholas with a super chat. Thank you. Just signed as a 68 Charlie. Can it be an MOS Monday? Possibly. How many? I haven't done 68 Charlie. I've done 68 Whiskey. I did another 68 series. The next one, I've already got that one already planned out for the next one. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the one after that one. So not this Monday, or the coming Monday, but maybe the Monday after that. I don't know, because there's also another MOS that's been requested quite often from a lot of people that I haven't done yet, that I might end up having to do next. But at some point, it's getting tough with some of these really obscure MOSs that not as many people are interested in, so it gets a little bit tough with some of those. Besides rank, isn't there a way to know how far or specialized in an MOS you can go? I mean, if you're 11 Bravo, are your options? Wait, are options to advance? I mean, you can get additional skills. You can do some additional training. Like, for example, 11 Bravo, if you want to get sniper qualified, then that kind of helps advance a little bit. And even though it doesn't move you in rank necessarily, but kind of advances you to a different position. There's kind of little schools and stuff you can do, I guess, if that's what you're talking about. Do veterans get discounts, and do they use them? You do at some locations. I don't usually ask if they have a veteran discount. If they ask me if I'm a veteran, I'll say yes, and I'll take the discount if they're giving it to me, but I usually don't ask. I know there's a certain places that I know do a veteran discount because I've registered for them for Lowe's. So if I'm getting something for Lowe's, yeah, I'll probably say, I got the veteran discount. Usually they ask anyways, and then they'll ask for my phone number or whatever in that internet system to make sure I'm registered with the system, and do it that way. But otherwise, I usually don't ask for one. But yeah, there's a lot of people that do. What was it? You underestimate the power of spite on the internet, Chris. Yeah, 1,000 likes would be extreme. There's not even going to be 1,000 people watching this live stream, so I doubt that very much so. Was it Lady Christelle? Is that how you pronounce it? Hopefully. Thank you for the super chat. You're awesome. Can enlistee claim SCRA for basic training AIT? What is SCRA? You gotta make me Google something. I don't know what SCRA. Oops, I spelled that wrong. I know. Service Members Civil Rights Act. I don't know what you're referencing though. Is that some kind of special? What qualifies for SCRSA? Covers all duty service members, reservists, and members of the National Guard while on active duty. Protects being on date of entering active duty. Generally terminates within 30 to 90 days after discharge. I'm not even familiar with what this is. I'm sorry, I can't really help you too well on that because I'm not really familiar with SCRA. But can enlistee claim SCRA for basic training AIT? I don't know. You're probably gonna have to Google that a little bit. Do SCRA benefits extend to the spouse? I don't even know what SCRA benefits are. Active duty service member, spouse, domestic partners eligible for SCRA benefits. Joint accounts, discover extended benefits, separate accounts, which it still doesn't tell me what the hell SCRA is. I don't know. If someone could tell me what the hell SCRSA really is and what you're supposed to get from it, maybe I can give you the answer to if you can get that in basic training in AIT. But I don't know. I don't know what the heck it is. But thanks for the donation. Sorry I can't really answer your question very well though. Another super chat from Nicholas. Thank you, Nicholas, for the super chat. Hey man, thanks a lot. You have really helped me out with my Army decision and gave me a lot of info. Well, thanks, Nicholas. I'm glad I can help. Glad to be helpful to you and all that stuff. Service member, yes. I know. I can see that's a Service Members Civil Rights Act, but I don't know what it does. What are you supposed to get from it? Why would anyone join the Army when they could join the Air Force? Army guys hate it. You can argue the Marines have it better. You just got to put up with more crap in the Army. It really just depends on what you're looking for as job-wise. If you want to be an infantry person, you're not going to get that from the Air Force. So it really just depends on what it is you want to do. Sometimes the Air Force doesn't offer the huge bonuses the Army does. A lot of things. I mean, Air Force isn't bad. Air Force has got a lot of good tech type of jobs and a lot of other things, but I wouldn't say that the Army's bad. Air Force is probably a lot more chiller. So, Chris, what was the worst driving accident you've ever seen as an 88 Mike, either in combat, during training exercise, or on normal duty? I haven't seen anything really too bad. There was a time where the drive shaft on a 5-ton vehicle fell out and it went forward, so it kind of like catapulted a truck and flipped it. The people inside were fine. They were okay, I guess banged up pretty good. No serious injuries, I don't think. But it catapulted the hell out of the truck. I didn't actually see it. I remember seeing pictures from afterwards and the individuals that were in the truck telling me about it and everything like that. But that's probably one of the more extreme ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Do you think being a technical commission officer, example, pilot, doctor, etc., will having that on my resume help me get jobs or votes from voters? If you're a pilot, or I'm sure if you're a doctor, that's always going to help you get a lot of jobs. I don't know about a pilot. I mean, unless you're just trying to transfer into another pilot and then votes. I don't know. You're trying to run for office? Maybe. I don't really know. I went to my local Army recruiter today, and they took my weight and height. I'm 298 pounds, and I'm 31 years old. The sergeant first class told me to lose 90 pounds. For my age group is 201. How can I lose it fast as possible? A lot of cardio, dieting really good. But you still can't. You don't want to lose it too fast because there is a such thing as unhealthily losing weight too fast. That can be unhealthy for you. So that kind of just depends. But I would say, just do a lot of cardio, eat really good foods, try different diet plans, something like that. Probably talk to a nutritionist maybe if you can about ways to healthily lose weight, I guess. Christopher Chaos, is the law designed to ease financial burdens? It's about a 6% debt reduction cap. I've never heard of that. So it's supposed to help with debt and everything like that? So you can do stuff for that program, for the SCRA? Well, how about this? What if I Google this? Available in basic. Let's try it. Do SCRA apply to basic training? SCRA begins on the first day of active duty, which means when the person ships out to basic training, and job schools are considered active duty for guard and reservist personnel, as well as active duty personnel. Yeah, reservist and active duty. Yeah. So it looks like it does. This is coming from the militaryguide.com saying that it does apply. So apparently, yes, you can use SCRA in basic training. So I guess you can start at day one of being in the military. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Learn a little bit, even a lot for myself during the live stream. Awesome. During basic, will they help me open a bank account like Navy Federal, for instance? They can. I think they usually recommend that you have a bank account before you go to the Army or into the military, even for that matter. So that way, when you show up for reception and you start doing all the paperwork, you have an account and a routing number to be able to put on the information for them to send your paycheck to. But if there are people, that don't have a bank account when they show up, then yeah, they'll do some stuff to try to probably get you set up with just something locally on that base real quick, so they can start sending your pay to it. I think I was in that situation. I remember. No, there was another guy. I think I remember that they did that though. So, and then Lady Christelle. Hopefully that helped you with the answer. According to what I just looked up just now, it says you can. It says you can start immediately day one. Chris Smith, what's happening? Notification Platoon reporting. Your videos are awesome. Thank you for the info. It's very helpful. Well, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Does enlisting with a GED different from enlisting with a high school diploma? Like after you get in, is there like a difference, things between the two? Not once you're already in. The only thing it'll really affect you on is your ASVAB scores. Your ASVAB score is going to have to be a little bit higher with a GED than it would be if you have an ASVAB, if you have a high school diploma, unless you have a GED and some college credits. But if you just have a GED, then you have to score higher. But as far as one person having a GED and the other person having a high school diploma once they're already in the Army, no difference. Nobody cares. Won't matter. What happens in MEPS? Physicals, some piss tests to see if you're on drugs, a couple other little tests, and then eventually, hopefully, signing a contract or seeing what your available options are for a contract. Terry Henderson, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. How many years were you in the Army for? I answered that earlier, but if you weren't here, that's fine. A little over 10 years. Actually, more like 10 and a half-ish, or a little more than 10 and a half-ish. How does a prior service member get leave time? Leaving for AIT, then moving my family, coming from National Guard to active duty. I don't know if you get to take leave before AIT. Afterwards, it's just going to be the same kind of deal. Like while you're in AIT, if you're prior service, you won't be treated like the same as the brand new privates and all that stuff. You'll be put into different barracks. You won't be put in the same barracks as them, and you're really just responsible for showing up to training on time and PT. You don't have to do all the crazy stuff in the barracks that they'll do and all the other stuff. You have a lot more freedom, but I don't know if you'll be able to take vacation or take leave before AIT, because you still have to build it up just like anybody else does. So you're gonna have to still build it up, but if you're going into AIT and you have a start date, you have to still meet that start date. But things will be a lot easier for prior service individuals in AIT. A younger cousin told me he's trying to get into shape for the Army by following a bodybuilder's diet and workout regimen. I told him that's a bad idea. I have no idea. Is for anybody losing weight, probably the best way is talk to like a doctor or a nutritionist or something like that, but usually a lot of cardio and just eating right will be definitely a good start. Hey, so I'm 16 and wanted to join the Army when I graduate high school. What would be recommended doing to be prepared for it? Watch all my videos. That's probably number one. I have a video on like how to prepare for basic training, things like that. Educate yourself. It's not necessarily a requirement, but it does make things a lot easier. The only thing that I would definitely do is make sure you're in good shape. You don't want to go into basic training being out of shape and really struggle, because it'll make things way rough on you if you're really out of shape. So make sure you have great cardio and great shape. Education's a plus to learn about the Army and know the rank structure and know all the other stuff. You get a lot of that from my videos and other great individuals as well, but that definitely is a helpful kind of thing. How can you be underweight? I was 125. Recruiter says going to gain 1 pound. That happens. There was a guy I knew that locally around here that he couldn't join because he was underweight, and he couldn't put on the extra weight to get to the right weight standards to join the Army. Well, it's been a long time since I watched these live streams due to band camp for marching band and enjoying summer. Good to be back. Well, thanks, Soviet soldier. Thanks for dropping in then. Do drill sergeants mess with the recruits while the recruits are sleeping? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes they'll come in the middle of the night, turn on the lights, smoke you for a little bit, make you back to bed. It's all sorts of crazy stuff. So yes, it can happen. Can you get rank up before you leave while in DEP, the delayed entry program? I completed 1 year of college this summer after I enlisted DEP And recruiter says I'll be E2 when I ship here in about 2 days. Sometimes there's different options, like you recruit somebody, you got some college credits. There's a few different ways. Your recruiter can kind of tell you. Sometimes there's even little classes you can take to help you jump up a rank, but you can only go so far. I mean, you can't like come into the Army as a sergeant or something like that. But the highest you can possibly do is a specialist, but that still requires a bachelor's degree. Do I miss the Army? No, I'm pretty good with it without being in the Army. ThatChrisChaos, thank you very, very much to react and reply to my comment for direction to start my weight loss. I appreciate it a lot. No problem. Good luck to you. Hope it works out, and hopefully everything goes well. Just make sure you're not doing it in an unhealthy manner. That's always the best. Chris, as an 88 Mike, is it said that you're responsible for your vehicle that the Army assigns you? So if someone causes an accident or somehow wrecks a vehicle, can the Army make them pay damages? So it's not like I even thought this like before I joined the Army, like I was gonna have like my own dedicated vehicle, and this was my vehicle, and this is the only one I have to maintain, and I just have to use that one every time I'm on mission. It's not really like that. Sometimes they do have an assigned vehicle just for the purpose of that is the one that you have to do the preventive maintenance on, do the checks on it. And then if available, you'll be using it for mission, but a lot of times you'll still fall in on any vehicle that is just the available one. But if you did like wreck it or something like that, no. If you were like really negligent, then you're probably gonna get in trouble for that, but they're not gonna really necessarily charge you for the damages to the vehicle if you wrecked the vehicle. Otherwise, unless the only thing they can kind of charge you for, but it's not the damages, is if you were negligent. Like you said, you were drunk, you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing, whatever, and then you caused an accident and wrecked the vehicle, then they could get you an Article 15, but they're not really making you pay for the damages to the vehicle. Were you in the Army during the BDU and jump boots phase? I was. That's when I first came in, that's how it was. And then it was, about 4 years? 4 years into the Army that we switched to the ACUs. And the berets and everything. Well, actually, it was only 2 years into the Army we switched to the berets. And then about 4 years into the Army that we switched to 4 or 5 years into the Army that we switched to the digital ACUs. And they were switching to the OCPs as I was getting out. Make sure you get what you want in your contract. Don't let recruiters pressure you or have ThatChrisChaos get you a contract. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to be very good at getting you a contract, but I can give you some tips. I definitely would say, push for what you want. And if you're, persistent enough or really wanting something, then maybe don't join until you can get it. I don't know. Sometimes it depends. Some people are more willing to settle for certain things. If you're willing to do so, then that's cool. If it doesn't, compromise too much, but that just kind of depends. Sadly, I don't have any good, pull to get you a great contract. I'm sorry. Wish I could. Tip: when shipping to basic, wear plain clothes, leave your Pokemon shirt at home. Yeah, it would probably help to avoid getting made fun of. Not really made fun of, but getting singled out by the drill sergeants and making things a little bit worse. So, I mean, yeah, I would suggest something plain just to avoid being singled out compared to everybody else and getting, messed with more. Do you do ROTC before you join the Army? Yes. You're going through ROTC program, going through college, and then during like your junior, I think before your junior, after your junior year, before your senior year, you're doing like a form of basic training type of thing that you have to go through with all the other ROTC cadets. So I'm looking at Army, SF, ASVAB requirement, and you need general technical score of a 110. Is that the highest score? I Googled it but didn't understand it. I don't think a 110 is the highest. I don't know what the highest is, but a 110 is not the highest. It does go higher than that on the GT score, but I don't know what the max is. Chris and other veterans out there, if given a choice, would you rather 1, go back to the Army, or 2, work at Walmart? If those are my only choices, man, probably Walmart, even though it'd suck worse, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying, not bashing anybody who works at Walmart, but it would have a lot more freedom. So I wouldn't have to worry about getting deployed, or I wouldn't have to worry about doing PT tests and everything. Pay, depending on what rank I'm coming back in the Army, might be less, might be more. So for the freedom, I probably just choose Walmart. ThatChrisChaos, why don't you look into joining the Coast Guard? I wouldn't, or auxiliary. If it's a lot of fun, you can become an officer without having a college degree. Because I have an awesome job right now working with the Army. So I wouldn't want to go to the Coast Guard. I am an instructor as a contractor for the Army that pays quite well. And I interact with soldiers daily, teaching them classes. So that's why. I want to join the military. Well, good luck to you, Ryan. Do you ever go to any special schooling, or did I ever? Not really. I mean, I did for like non-commissioned officer schooling, but nothing like airborne, air assault, nothing like that. A couple little things here and there, like hazmat training, the NCO academies, but those are kind of really basic ones, I guess. Nothing really special like sapper or ranger school or anything like that. Don't take anything basic less you will have to pack during shark attack. Yeah, I would recommend only take what the packing list says. You usually get a packing list at MEPS that'll tell you what you have to bring. It's usually hygiene stuff, and then like maybe socks and underwear and a few other things. But yeah, I wouldn't bring anything more than what the packing list says. Gosh, does the amount of time you had to think about that Walmart question? Well, I had to think about it. And it's like, work at Walmart or go back in the Army, but yeah. But 110 is considered high. I don't know if it's considered high. Usually they want you to have at least a 100, but to reclass to another MOS, you have to have a 110 a lot of times. So I wouldn't say it's high. It's probably around average-ish. I don't really think a 110 is high. When I was stationed at Fort Carson, a soldier from 208 Infantry put gas in a Humvee. He received a statement of charges for the damages, and that can happen too. Yeah, because you don't put regular gasoline inside of Humvee. You put what's called JP8, Jet Propulsion 8, I believe is what it stands for. But that's what gets used in most military vehicles is JP8. It's kind of like diesel in a way with a little bit higher of an octane, I believe. So, but yeah, I mean, it could still happen. So that you get a statement of charges. Depends. Did you ever think of making the Army a career before you joined, or maybe before getting out? Nope. It was always a plan of just being a milestone, a little stepping stone to get the experience and move on to other things. It was never really an idea of wanting to, make it a permanent, thing. What do I teach? I teach soldiers how to use the JCR and JBCP system. It's basically a system that soldiers have in their vehicles for tracking purposes and reporting procedures to be able to see where other friendlies are at on the battlefield and be able to report to them or other individuals and place icons on the map to let people know where roadside bombs are, enemies, things like that. And I teach soldiers how to use that system and how to maintain that system. 92 Romeo Parachute Rigger was a fun MOS, had majors and E7s on their knees thanking me after their jump. Yeah, that's rough. I know I had a friend who was 11 Bravo in airborne for a long time, and he said that sometimes the riggers have to jump with their parachute, and they'll be rigging up a bunch of parachutes, and someone will come by and be like, hey, this parachute here that you rigged up, you got to jump with it. Let's go, get on the plane. So yeah, you want to take it really seriously when you're rigging those parachutes, because you might have to jump with one of those parachutes on a random inspection day. Coast Guard Auxiliary is part-time and just gives you veteran benefits, no money, but you'll get to be an officer in a year if you do more volunteer work than the 8 hours a month. Yeah, I already am pretty busy with my full-time job of being an instructor and then doing YouTube, and then a family. So it'd be really tough for me to do like, oh yeah, I'm just going to dedicate more of my free time to something else. So no, all the free time that I do have outside of my job goes to my family and working on this channel and doing stuff for this channel. And that means sometimes staying up pretty late at night already. Sometimes there are late nights where I don't go to bed until midnight and then have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It can be rough sometimes. It can be rough, but I'm dedicated. I want to educate you guys, entertain you guys, all that fun stuff. Is MP a good job to join? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people I know that enjoy being an MP and really like it, especially if you want to pursue law enforcement later. Were you up to staff sergeant before you discharged? No, I was a sergeant, but I should have been a staff sergeant, but I just didn't have the points requirements. I had all the schooling, I had the board, I had everything else, but the points to get promoted. so it sucks. Were you big on lifting weights while in? If so, how much did you bench? No, I wasn't big on lifting weights. I would do cardio, do the basic PT while in Iraq, doing some extra PT in the evenings in the gym, but it was usually a lot of cardio stuff. I was more of a cardio person. I wasn't a lifting weights kind of person. I was pretty skinny in the Army. I think I weighed like 175, 180 pounds. When I was in the Army, I was really skinny. And that's mainly because I did a lot of cardio. You ever do a video on newer retirement, BRS, or what are your thoughts? I have not yet. That is something I will be doing at some point in time because I need to explain how the newer retirement kind of system works. It's a little bit different than it was back in the day. So I do need to do a video on that though. Casey with a super chat. Thank you so much, Casey. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for being here and helping the channel out. I appreciate that. Also, you guys, if you guys aren't aware, the channel does have membership availability now. So if you want to check that out later, there's a join button down below that way somewhere. So if you're on mobile device, you have to go to the description and there's a link to the area where you can go to join. You get different perks. You get these little icons like you might be seeing in the chats here from like Jay the Vorn and other individuals. Joe E, he's got a little rank next to their name. The longer you're a member, the higher up you'll rank. Other perks like early access to videos, intel to find out about videos coming up, discounts from the Chaos store, and even all the way up to the highest one of like member-only live streams and member-only videos and stuff. So a lot of different perks. Not, no biggie if you can't do it or you don't want to do it. That's not a problem. But maybe if it does pique your interest and you want a little more out of just simply dropping a donation, maybe you want something a little bit more than just me saying hello to you in the live stream and, answering your question, maybe think about that. Check it out. What is it? Yes, if we ever refuse to jump our own parachute or anyone else's chute, it would be in Article 15. Yeah, I'd imagine it's a tough thing. Have you ever taught one of your subscribers? Yes, several times. There was my last class I taught last week. There was a guy who immediately recognized me when I was. I had the students have to sign in at the very beginning of the class to do the roster and everything for their certificates and everything for that they completed the training. And when I was having all the soldiers sign in on the roster before training started, right away there was a guy who was like, "You're Christopher Chaos, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I watch your videos all the time. I didn't know you were here. That's awesome." So yes, I have had it multiple times where I've had soldiers in my class that are people that watch my videos. So it's funny. About to go to basic at Fort Seal. Good luck to you, Christian. Ryan, thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great evening. The content you make is amazing. Keep up the good work. Road to 100K subscribers. It's probably going to take a while at this pace. The pace that I'm at right now, it's going to take a couple years. But I don't know. Maybe something amazing will happen and all of a sudden it'll blow up and people will start recognizing my channel a lot more and subscribers will jump a lot. I don't know. But right now, at the pace that I'm at right now, it's going to take a couple years before I even get to 100,000 subscribers. Right now, I think it's on pace to maybe get to 50 by the end of the year, but I would like to shoot for past that. Maybe we'll get lucky. We'll see. Hey, Chris, I'm planning to pick 11 X-ray tomorrow morning. I have a GED with 4 college credits. I will not be getting the bonus, but could I get one if I fast track from MEPS in a month of enlisting? I don't know, because I think having a GED does eliminate you from being able to get bonuses, but I would check with a recruiter to see if there is any other options, or even when you go through MEPS, if you're going through MEPS, check with the person that you're sitting with to see if there's any available bonuses, even though you only have a GED and stuff. But because you have the 4 college credits, I don't know if that's enough to like kind of give you the same benefits as a high school diploma, or if you need more than 4 credits, I don't remember. But check with the recruiter or one of those individuals. Wow, I always wanted to know that. That's awesome that you teach. Well, thanks. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. I mean, I'd rather do this full time. That'd be a lot funner. But for now, it's still a lot of fun interacting with soldiers daily and teaching them. So that's fun. Anyways, Chris, have been fun, but gotta go. Take care and rock on. Well, rock on, Jay the Born. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, Chris, do you know anything about Texas A&M Corps of Cadets? I don't know anything about that. I would talk to someone at the school, maybe. Going to the Army as a SP4, so it's not really a Spec 4 thing anymore. It's just a Specialist E4. with college degree, how does that work? You just go in as an E4 while you're in basic training. Because you're an E4, they're probably going to make you be a platoon sergeant. Good chance. And you still have to wait the normal time period to be able to be eligible to try to get promoted. You can try to get a waiver, to get waived one of them, either the time and grade or the time of service, but you can't get a waiver for both. So you're either going to have to be in the Army for the required amount of time to get promoted to sergeant, or be a specialist for the required amount of time to be able to get promoted. You can't get a waiver for both. You can only get a waiver for one or the other. I'm looking at becoming a helicopter pilot. What was your experience with warrant officers? I've never dealt with pilots. I've known warrant officers that were just other warrant officers, not pilot ones, and they're pretty cool. There's a guy that I work with now. He was in the Army as a pilot. I mean, he's pretty cool. But I don't know. They're pretty good guys for the most part of the ones I've met, I guess. I've only met like probably 2 pilot warrant officers, but they're like retired warrant officers, now like currently in. I don't think I've ever met any that are currently in that I can remember. If I did, I don't remember it. The NFL just switched to 27 straight weeks. Not going to work out well. What are you talking about? Is that responding to someone else's thing earlier? I don't know. Casey with another super chat. You rock. Thanks for the donation. I'm going to Fort Benning next Sunday, and I struggled with the land navigation on future soldier training on 6 and 8 number locations were on web for help. So you're going in, are you going to, did you say if you're going to 11 Bravo? I don't remember if I saw that. If you're going to 11 Bravo, I mean, it'll be a little bit, stricter on the land nav, but if you're just doing another MWest that's not 11 Bravo, they're not that strict on land nav. It's not like you must do this well on land nav to graduate basic training. No, they're going to get you a basic orientation with it. I don't even think in 11 Bravo if it's a requirement to pass OSIT for land nav. For certain other things, like if you're doing like special forces, 11 and 18 X-ray, that one it's a much harder land navigation course for that, and that one you are required to pass that. But for basic training or OSIT, basic training is not a requirement. I don't know for OSIT if it's a requirement to pass land nav, but they'll teach you all that stuff. It's not until you get later on in your Army career, like if you're doing like an NCO Academy or something like that, that it is a requirement to be able to pass something. I'm probably going to be doing a land nav video here pretty soon. I'm going to be going on vacation later in a few more weeks-ish, and I want to do the video in California because it's very deserty, and I think it'd be kind of fun to do it in the desert rather than doing it here in Colorado. So I'll be shooting hopefully in the next month or so a land nav video to kind of teach people how to do land nav, but maybe make it a little bit humorous as well. I kind of thought about. I don't know. We'll see how it kind of plays out, but I want to wait until I'm in California to do that video. So you're doing 11 X-ray. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a little bit stricter on that, but I don't remember if it's a requirement to pass OSIT to be able to pass land nav. I don't think it is. I think it's just going to go off of your basic stuff like your PT score, weapons qualification, and a few other things and stuff. I'm not sure if OSIT for 11 Bravo or 11 X-ray requires you to pass land nav. What Army branch were you in? What Army branch? Army is a branch. But if you're talking about like if I was active duty reserves or National Guard, I was active duty. If that's what you're talking about. Otherwise, Army is the branch. Leaving in 26 days, 11 X-ray. Well, good luck to you. Is the Army allowing facial hair now? Not really. If you have what's called a shaving profile, because like maybe your skin is sensitive and a doctor checks you out and confirms that, then you can kind of have a beard, have some facial hair, but it still has to be really, really short. There are some exceptions with religion sometimes, but other than that, no facial hair. You can have a mustache, but it's like a really short mustache because it can't come past the edge of your mouth. It has to be really small. And then like special forces sometimes can have a facial hair, but it's usually mission dependent. They can't normally just have facial hair just for the fun of it all. If they have something coming up like a mission that requires them to blend in with the civilians, then they're usually authorized to grow out facial hair. Is there any advice you could give about being a M1 crewman? Not really, because I don't have a lot. I've known people that did that, but I don't have firsthand experience with that to really give good advice for it. Nothing I can think of. Sorry. I'm 14 and a freshman this school year and want to join the Army when I graduate. Do you have any advice for joining the Army in the future? Like I told the guy earlier in live stream, watch all my videos. That's definitely one. Get in really good shape. Do a lot of research. Think about a job that you really want to do. and all that kind of fun stuff. Just check out a lot of videos that I have or other individuals that, if you prefer someone else, that's fine. I won't be butthurt about it, but I've got a lot of videos. There's other individuals that have a lot of Army related videos that could help you out, but probably one of the biggest things is make sure you go in good shape. Cool. Looking forward to the land nav video. It'll be fun. Which corps was I in? Well, the transportation corps. Is that what you're talking about? That was an 88 Mike, so I was in the transportation corps. Chaos, how often can you retake the ASVAB if you don't get the score you want? There's a set standard. I think after the first time you take it, I think you have to wait 30 days, and then you can take it again. And if you want to do it again after that, you have to wait another 30 days. And then if you want to take it again after that one, then I think you have to wait a year. So check with a recruiter. I think you can look it up online. There's some kind of requirements like that, but it's something like that, like 30 days, and then after like your second or third attempt, and you want to retake it again, I think you have to wait a year after that. Any advice if you want to be an officer in the Army? Go to college. Decide if you want to do ROTC or if you just want to do a regular college and then come in as the OCS program. Or if you're really smart, you get really great grades and can qualify, try for West Point. But that's pretty tough. I'm 14 and want to go to the Navy. Well, good luck to you. Check out JT Suits, great Navy channel. Nikki, MGTV, great channel. It's only two really Navy guys I know. If I didn't pass basic training, would I put on a resume that I was in the military? Probably not. It depends. Like if you got kicked out, you got a general discharge. They kind of treat it as if you were never even in. If you got kicked out, if you just didn't pass, then that's usually a general discharge, and that basically just gets treated as if you were never even in the military. So you wouldn't even have that really as to say that you were in the military because technically you weren't really in the military, I guess. I don't know. Thanks for answering my question. Well, no problem. Leaving for Benny in a couple weeks. 11 X-ray. Any tips for getting expert marksmanship badge? Really pay attention. You'll do some training. You'll do some like different little things where you'll do like these little washer things where you put like either like a washer on the end of the rifle or a penny or something like that, and make sure your trigger squeeze is good. So just really pay attention when you're doing the training before you go into qualification. And treat it really seriously, and then hopefully that works well enough. But sometimes even that's not enough. Sometimes you just have to be good enough to shoot expert naturally. Sometimes I don't know, but that would be a good start. Is just to really pay attention when they do the training, to really focus and put a lot of effort into it to try to do your best. We are at 1 hour right now, so we'll give it a little bit longer. I'll do maybe like a question here, maybe an older one, and then a new one, and then we'll probably end this here in the next like 5 minutes or less. I love your channel and watch a bunch of your videos. I was thinking of going in as a combat medic, so I watched a bunch of videos on that MOS. Well, awesome. Good deal. Hopefully it works out for you. All right, let me see if I can find a question that maybe I missed from earlier that I jumped past. Do you choose what country you want to get deployed in, like Iraq, Germany, Afghanistan, etc.? You do not. Your unit is going to come up on orders for a deployment. So if they're going on a combat deployment, then it's like Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever the current conflict is going on at the time. Otherwise, if it's like a non-combat deployment, because that exists, there's things like going to Poland, to Germany, to Korea, to other places where it's a non-combat deployment. And if your unit is just on orders to go to this location for training purposes or a mission or some sort, then you're just going. You don't get to pick that, hey, I want to go to this place. It's just a matter of what location your unit comes up on orders for. And we'll do one more new one. Let's see. I heard that you have to go through a leadership course in order to become a non-commissioned officer. Did you have to go through that? I did. I went through a leadership course, a non-commissioned officer academy, NCO academy, for the rank of sergeant for an E5. So at that time, it was called PLDC, for the primary professional leadership development course, what PLDC stood for back then. PLDC was 2 weeks. It's still 2 weeks. But then the name changed to the Warriors Leaders course, and then again to BLC, the Basic Leaders course. So right now it's currently the BLC. I also went to BNOC, which is the Non-Commissioned Officer Academy for E6 or a Staff Sergeant. Mine, that one depends on your MOS as far as how long it is. So that one varies because it's more MOS specific, whereas BLC and back then PLDC is more generic for anyone. But BNOC for E6 was MOS specific. So mine was like 7 or 8 weeks, I think it was, for BNOC, something like that. And then now it is called ALC, the Advanced Leadership Course. So now the names has changed again to ALC for E6s. So I went through both of those, passed. Even PLDC, I made what was called Commandant's List, which was basically being in the top 15 of your class. So I made it in the top 15 of my class and got Commandant's List. When I went through BNOC for non-commissioned, for Staff Sergeant for E6, they weren't really keeping track of it, so I don't know if I made it in the top 15 of that one. They really didn't seem to care when I was going through. They were kind of doing this new program where instead of us going to them, they were coming to us. So they came to Fort Carson for 8 weeks or whatever it was. I think it was something like that. And we did the schooling for that amount of time rather than us going somewhere else where like it used to be. So, all right, guys. So that is going to end it. That is going to end this live stream. If you're interested in becoming a member of the channel, maybe later check out that little join button down below or link in the description. If I didn't get to your question, because sometimes I missed your question, I have to skip around in the chat or whatever the case might be, check me out on Instagram. You can follow me at ThatChrisChaos or just do a search on Instagram for Christopher Chaos. You can shoot me a message on there. I'm pretty good at responding to pretty much everyone as long as it's not spam. But usually I'll respond to you within 24 or 48 hours less, sometimes maybe an hour, a couple minutes. It just depends on what I'm doing at the time. But I'm pretty good at being able to respond to people currently, if you hit me up on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram if you don't already, and you can always shoot me a message on there, and I can usually help out. Just don't get crazy and like ask me all sorts of crazy questions that you can probably Google if you put a little effort into it. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you didn't already like the stream and you enjoyed that, hit the like button and all that stuff. If for whatever crazy reason you're watching this and you're not subscribed, maybe check out some other content. Maybe think about subscribing to the video. I got a new video going up live tomorrow. This is kind of inspired by the whole storming Area 51 thing. So make sure you check that out. It'll be Friday afternoon. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. See you guys next time. See ya.